This is an info presentation based on 3 research studies, which explains the migration of hospitality programs from a domestic to an international faculty and possible causes. Here are the 3 studies. We conducted these studies because of the lack of domestic students and faculty in the hiring pool and at academic and graduate conferences. In this image from the 1970s, hospitality students were mostly white, with a roughly equal split between men and women, compared to nearly an all-white male faculty. Comparatively, in 2025, our hospitality students are more diverse. However, we have limited national data on the demographics of hospitality faculty. Study 1, Faculty Composition. The population we examined came from the 72 hospitality and tourism programs listed in the Guide to College Programs, and we compared underrepresented minority faculty members versus non-underrepresented faculty members, which we will call UMs and non-UMs. What we found was surprisingly few faculty members, with nearly half of them being foreign-born. For Native Americans, we found none. This slide shows that less than 1 out of 10 faculty members being an compared with non-UMs. This ratio becomes even less when you consider only domestic UMs, which makes the ratio 1 to 20. In this slide, we see the distribution of faculty by rank. This shows that at higher ranks, faculty have increasingly less influence within the program. Study 2. In this study, we used the population from Study 1, and 70% of them participated. We conducted focus groups and developed themes around the barriers. From these themes, we created survey questions for each barrier. We then used these questions in an important performance analysis to assess how frequent and significant each barrier was. felt that both undergraduate and master hospitality program placed greater emphasis on practical skills than on developing students' analytical and intellectual capabilities. Lack of faculty representation harms applicants for faculty positions or for a slot in their PhD program. UMs were seldom mentored by faculty as they watched non-UMs being mentored in research activities. UMs felt isolated because non-UM PhD students and faculty ignored them. Finally, they felt real racism, often being the only minority in their program. Study 3. In Study 3, we analyzed faculty and students who attended the 2023 Hospitality and Tourism Graduate Conference. We focus on the first student author and the first faculty mentor listed on each paper, as these represent the primary mentee-mentor pair. Asian faculty and students were 70% of the mentors and mentees, with the remainder being whites, Latinx, and Black-X faculty and students. 80.6% of the faculty and 83% of the students were born outside the United States. Asian students were nearly all born outside the U.S., and between 60 to 90% of Black-X and Latinx students were born outside the U.S. Only white students were predominantly born in the U.S. Asian faculty work with 80% of the Asian student population, compared with whites who work with only 50% of the white student population. Black-X and Latinx faculty work with less of their own ethnicity students because of the lack of these faculty within our programs. In conclusion, we estimated that the faculty pipeline would be 90-95% foreign-born within 5 years, primarily from Asia. This raises a concern why there are so few domestic students in the faculty pipeline. Recommendation. We have 5 recommendations. First, strengthen undergraduate MS curricula to build intellectual and research skills. Second, develop cross-cultural training workshops. Third, improve mentorship for domestic students. Fourth, audit selection processes for bias. Fifth, balance domestic and international recruiting. Closing remarks. Previous research shows that when faculty ethnicity doesn't mirror the students, fewer students are drawn to these programs. In the last 12 years, hospitality programs have declined between 5 to 50%, and we suggest a connection. This also hurts the field's reputation. If we cannot produce a portion of domestic faculty members, do we even belong in higher education because we're more of a vocational field? Are these findings a canary in the coal mine for other disciplines? Will a public outcry arise, like the women's movement, demanding equal domestic representation because of believing that domestic students are being discriminated against from becoming a faculty member. Finally, we must ask the 60 minutes test. If questioned, can we justify why we have so few domestic faculty and PhD students?